Hey everyone, Teresa here for the Knit Petite project, and I'm outside today because it's an absolutely gorgeous February unbelievably day, and I want to talk to you a little bit about this week's post. So this week I wanted to address just how many petite women there are in various countries, and one of the reasons for that is I'm going to tell you a little story actually. When my fashion awakening happened at about age 12 and peer pressure started to enact itself upon me. I wanted to go to the mall, of course, and get some clothes so that I could be cool like the rest of the cool kids. You know how peer pressure works. At the time, I was 5'1", so I had reached my maximum height, and like I said, I was 12, and I was pretty overweight, and it was, I remember, not a terribly positive experience. I remember repeating quite regularly how there was things wrong with my body because nothing fit it. Overall, not very happy experience, but one of the other things that stick out from my memory was that, of course, I wanted to go to the cool stores and get the cool stuff, but walking through the mall, I noticed that there was indeed this store for petite women. Subheading underneath that, it said 5'4" and under. So I asked my mom about that, and she confirmed indeed that it was for petite women. And I remember at the time, my little 12-year-old brain thinking, well, that should apply to me, but everything in there is ugly, so I'm going to go to my own stores. The reason I bring that up is because I want to sort of demonstrate how ideas about fit and the sorts of clothes that we buy and the things that we have available to us will inform how we subsequently feel about ourselves and what we think is the reality around us of human bodies. So the fact that there was only one petite store, there was only one store specifically for women 5'4" and under, said to my 12-year-old brain and my subsequent brain that we're outliers. There's something unusual about us. We're a market that has to be catered to outside of the regular stores. So I thought I'd go into that when I started thinking about the Knit Petite project. As I certainly can't be the only petite woman in the world. My family, we share genes, so a lot of the women in my family are also petite women. And I wanted to go into this. I wanted to see how valuable this information would be to how many people. Get a bit of an idea about it. So I looked into a number of different countries. You can check out the post this week to see where I've gathered the data from and who I've actually mentioned. But I encourage you to look up your own country if it's not listed, because it's actually not too hard to find information depending on the country you're looking for, and depending on, you know, if you're aware of the parameters in which they've gathered this information, like how old it is, the age is represented within the data that they've collected, things like that. But I've listed information for America, Canada, the UK, and Australia. And of those 4 countries, all of them, all the stats that I found, and you can check for yourself the things that I read in the blog post, the average female height, and this is just average female height, is either 5'4" or 5'3". 5'4" is, and 5'3" fall under petite. So that to me says that there's a market for this. There's a lot of petite women out there. This is going to apply to a lot of people. And the story that I told you at the top of this video would probably resonate with a whole bunch of people too. So I encourage you to check out that information on the website, and the question for this week is to encourage you to in fact go and look for yourself, to see the information you can find, to see the dates for it, the age ranges they give you. Perhaps your country wasn't listed on the blog post. Look up the stats for your country. Look into it, see what it has to say. Stay tuned next week to the Petite Project when we're going to start looking at how to actually tell if we're petite. It might sound like an obvious thing to answer, but actually there's a few different moving parts in that definition that may make you have to re-examine what you may think of the clothing that you buy for yourself, where you go to get it, things like that. So we're going to examine what kind of petite you might be and start to think a little bit about how you're going to address whatever that issue is. Exciting stuff. I've been reading this really fantastic book. Very interesting. And I'm drawing a bunch of information from it, but in every case, whenever I get information, I source it for you. I've collected all the resources. I have a separate post that includes all of the resources so that you can access it as well. And of course, like always, this is collaborative, and I'd love to hear from you and the things that you have to say about what you find and your own thoughts too. So please collaborate, please keep in touch, and stay tuned next week when we're going to start talking about the actual different ways that we can be petite. Thanks, everyone.